the concept of ownership to me, that's a big piece that'll come up a lot, but I think sometimes it's misconstrued because the presentation. Like you think about, Dame is iconic for being on the Breakfast Club and telling people, and I'm paraphrasing here, but go sell T-shirts and just hustle and just get to the bread. Like you don't need.
My son has cookies.
Thank you. Right.
Hustle for your last name.
Hustle for your last name, which I'm cool with. I from a family and lineage standpoint, I understand that. But at the same time, it's like, I think sometimes what gets left out in the conversation of ownership is preparation. You can't just be like, oh yeah, I want to own something, I'm just gonna go willy-nilly and just try to do some shit, and it's not thought out and it's not prepared. Like I think to me that is that's wrong. Like it's wrong to tell people that, oh yeah, just go start some shit and try it, and then you'll be a boss, but you broke as fuck. Like you can't tell a dude
you're a boss.
That's what I'm talking about.
I mean, you can't have people. You have to have worker ants. You have to have people that back you. Essentially, the most successful people, the face of the organization, but they didn't do it alone. You know what I'm saying? So if you feel like people need to realize that just because your favorite person or artist or businessman is a boss, you may not fit that role. You might have to just file in place, but that doesn't mean that you can't be equally as important.
But I mean, just be clear. I'm not opposed to being a boss or opposed to ownership. I'm opposed to putting out the message that it's for everybody. I'm opposed to the message that you can just like, you don't have to think about it. Like there's preparation, thought, and planning that has to go into executing that. You can't tell a dude who's got 3 kids, just go sell T-shirts, fam, you're a boss now. Like to me, that's irresponsible. You know what I'm saying? Like Lone, I would come to you because you got bringing down the band. I saw you build that from the ground up. You know what I'm saying? Like it's tough. It's not easy. It's not for everybody, but I saw that you had a plan in place, and as you grew it and it became to what it is now, the shit wasn't one done overnight until you thought about everything that you did prior to it becoming what it is. Would that be fair to say?
The same could be said about Lone's beard. But continue.
It could be.
100%.
It's a growing process. And you cut it off. You start over. You start over. You fumigate, and then you just kind of keep it moving.
Keep the bugs out. Grow that shit. I feel you. But go ahead, Lone.
Fumigation is such an important step.
It is actually. It could be mirrored to taking a shower.
I feel you. Shout out to the mosquitoes. Lone, talk to me, man. Talk to me.
As somebody that has built stuff from the ground up in a handful of ways and been successful in some things and not successful in a handful of others, I think I agree with you that the plan is important. I would also say that one thing that hinders most people is the same thought that you threw out there.
Okay.
And that is the idea that a lot of times people will pick any type of excuse that they can to not jump into that next level of where they need to be. Okay. And maybe excuse is the wrong word. Maybe more.
No, I see where you're going.
What I mean is it's really, really easy in the society that we have built around us to continually do the same thing that we are doing over and over again. It's built for us to kind of be that. Because we get the short-term comfortability for the long-term. I don't even know what you would call it, But at the same time, not everybody wants, like you said, not everybody wants to own their own thing. Not everybody, strives for that stuff. For me, it's something that I find as a challenge, and I like doing it. But it does take a lot. At the same time, I would be lying if I said I didn't plan a lot, and I didn't try a lot, and I didn't try a lot of things, and. It's a lot of stuff I have has been just a whim, but but it's a lot of the, but right now at the same time, I'm already been planning for 2021 with everything I do. So it's like, that stuff is definitely important. And, to kind of bring it back to, the podcast level of things, like, if that's kind of what you're talking about with the ownership, maybe I feel like I do kind of feel like almost anybody could do what Joe is doing right now with the ownership level of it. I think you do have to have a level of commitment to it and consistency, but Joe's doing just a more advanced version of what we're doing. You know, he's got more name recognition because he's Joe Budden. And he's got this huge podcast, but you know, when he says that when he owns his own podcast and when we talk about it on the show, what we're talking about is handle your own distribution. Be in full control of how you release your stuff. Be in full control of your content. Don't get us wrong. If Twitch dies tomorrow and YouTube dies tomorrow, then you guys aren't going to watch this because we don't fully own everything that we're a part of. So there's levels of ownership, right?
Talk.
But at the same time, like, we do have control over like the intellectual property of everything that we're doing, and I think that's really kind of the key element. And so, you know, not everybody's going to be in the slot that Joe Budden's in, with Spotify throwing him millions of dollars and stuff like that. And but on every level, you know, you just have to be careful of the balance that you may whatever you are giving up for more notoriety. You know, there's always a give and take, especially in the capitalist model. You know, it's just what it is.
I see. Nah, man, like it's cool. I just, you know, I don't know, man. Like I'm all for it. Like, people think when I question those comments that I'm opposed to ownership, that I'm opposed to entrepreneurship. That's far from the case. But, you know, it's just, it takes, you know, that plunge, quote unquote, is one thing, but taking that plunge and not being prepared is a totally different thing, I would think, you know, in my opinion.
From my experience, taking the plunge was
so with him owning this, where
necessary.
is it going? Where is he playing?
Yeah, agree, 100%. We've had that conversation, Long. The plunge is step one. I get that part.
What'd you say, Terry?
Yeah, sorry, Terry.
So with him having the ownership, where's it supposed to be streaming at?
I mean, it'll still be like, I think it's on everything is still the YouTube and, you know, whatever platforms. I think it'll be YouTube and I have to look it up, but don't get me wrong. I don't want to say the wrong thing.
My guess is all that it really means is that he buys, I don't know exactly how it works for somebody at his level, but I'm guessing he uses some platform similar to what we do that automatically streams to all the different places like Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon, you know, Google Play until it's DSP. Not around. Yeah, just a digital service. So
essentially, he's doing where he started from.
Yeah, but going back. But this time, to Spoolz' point, he has, you know, as they say, the clout in the name now. So now he can just pay for a service like anybody else does. He just has the name and he owns his own shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's earned the name. He's developed the name for that podcast.
Or maybe it's a YouTube thing. I don't know. Like, I have no idea. I don't know any of the details on the network. But you could definitely do it on YouTube if you wanted to.
True. You could do it exclusively on there. But I guess we all would say, you know, we would all agree that the concept of him actually branching away and starting his own shit, that's dope. Yeah. So at the end of the day, that's dope. Sure.
If you've enjoyed this segment of the New Old Heads podcast, make sure to join our live show every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/bringingdowntheband and join our private Discord community with talks on hip-hop, music, news, and everything else.